Tiffany, I want to start with a little bit about your story. It saddened me to hear that in high school you were sexually assaulted, you were threatened, and became so scared that you dropped out. Share with us, if you would, what that was about in your life.
Well, I guess about the end of my 9th grade year, there was a football player, that played on the team, and he was very good. He was like one of the top star players. And there was an incident in the classroom where, and it was a teacher in the room when it happened, but I was sexually assaulted. And
you were sexually assaulted in the classroom?
In the classroom.
With the teacher in the room?
With the teacher in the room and other students in the room.
So there were witnesses. It's not he said, she said.
No.
So the teacher totally lets it go. Your mom, of course, goes ballistic, as any wonderful, loving mother would do. So you go to tell the officials, which had to be hard for you. You're saying hard enough anyway. It took a 2-day space before you could tell your mom. And then, even though there are witnesses and people see it, they're not in support of you. And why would they not be?
I guess because they were going to the championship that year.
The football team?
Yeah. And they really wanted this guy to play because he was really a good player. He's pretty good, So they wanted him to play, and they didn't want me to mess that up.
Seems outrageous, Becky, doesn't it?
Yes, yes, yes. But so many of our women have faced situations like that where their needs or their concerns have been ignored, and then the fear has blocked them from making progress in their lives. So many oppressive things have happened to them. It might not even be this. It might be lack of income, lack of education, just lack of support, not a home to live in, home, just different things like that that have brought so much darkness and blockage into their lives that it's very hard to get past that to the next step that you need to do.
Yes. And really, Tiffany, for you, that is kind of what happened, because you try to expose the story and you try to get help. And
I'm persecuted because of it.
Now, what do you mean you're persecuted?
The principal was, not very happy with me. My mom had to end up going to the news because they were not going to remove him from the school.
The teacher?
Yeah. And well, no, the student.
The student.
And they still didn't remove him. They suspended him for about 10 days, but he was allowed to come back. And I had to walk the halls and see him every day. And he would stare me down, and I would just be so afraid. And then he would have family members waiting for me outside of the school. On my bus stop, they would wait on me on the front of the school. And I got to the point where I was so scared I didn't want to go to school anymore. And my mom would not let me drop out. So I went and signed myself out of school at 18.
I mean, are you feeling like there's no hope for you?
Yeah. I felt very hopeless. Yeah. Very hopeless. Yeah. I wanted to finish my education, but I felt like as a mother that my time and my energy had to be dedicated to my daughter.
Sure.
So I didn't feel like I had the time. I felt like, I'm a single parent. I don't have time to go back to school. My time needs to be spent working so I can take care of my child.
Sure. So you would work all day long doing what you could, and I'm sure that then for you to even think about GED classes, or then you would also need child care for that. So was that a problem?
Yes. Child care was a big issue because right now I have 3 kids. I have a 11-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 5-year-old. So it's very hard to find a babysitter for 3 children.
Christian Women's Job Corps, we provide educational programs and a life-changing community to wrap around them. So that means that any obstacle any woman faces to keep her from coming to GED classes, or that is blocking her studying, we try to address those. We address it through a mentor. Every woman has a Christian mentor that meets with her weekly, prays with her, talks with her. Our staff helps with case management on any crisis. And the women that come to our program, I think those wraparound services dealing with the issues blocking you from getting to your GED is what helps them be successful. Child care is one of those. They come to classes 4 hours a week, so that's 4 hours of free child care for their children. And then, it's a real commitment on their part. They're working 40 hours a week.
Right.
And they're coming to classes 4 hours a week. So sometimes it's slow, so we serve women 1 to 2 years, and sometimes longer, until they reach that goal.
It's faith-based. Yes.
Because their view of themselves changes, and they realize God has a purpose for their lives. And
they've got help.
Yes.
Because I think even if you just realize God has a
Yes.
purpose for your life, and you realize that you need a GED, and you realize you need housing and job placement, if you have nobody to help you
Right.
and nobody to turn to, exactly how do you do that in isolation or in a vacuum?
That's right.
You know, you can't.
Yes.
And Dawn, I understand that you were very instrumental in Tiffany's life and along this process. What made you even want to get involved as a volunteer with Christian Women's Job Corps?
Becky, to start off at a meeting, a women's ministry meeting, and I got interested in it. And she had me in the beginning writing about the stories because my background is journalism. And they were such great stories, I thought, well, I want to be part of one of those stories. And I got involved as a volunteer thinking that I was going to help the women. And maybe I have, but they have changed me so much because I think we tend to be judgmental,
Yes,
even
we
though
do.
we're not
Yes.
supposed to be. We think people get what they deserve. Thank goodness I don't get what I deserve. And so we just try and show them God's love, and it's like they show it back, and they just cannot believe there are people still in the world who want to help and do good and help.
Tiffany, you get started 6 months to a year after the waiting list.
Yeah, and very much so. When I entered Christian Women's Job Corps, I was very broken, just from circumstances in life. You know, just became a victim to my circumstances. And I didn't know a lot about God. I wanted to know more about God, but I believed in God, you know. And the Bible study there helped me so very much. I mean, just things that you're afraid to ask people, you know, about the Bible, and that things that the Bible says, and you don't know how to ask people. Look at you like you're crazy. So Miss Dawn, we had Bible study every week, and she would come in there and she would read, and she would say, whatever y'all want to ask, just ask me. You know, and I wanted to know so much, and it was like she was a friend, but she was also a friend of Jesus.
Yeah.
And it was like she was willing to grab me by the hand and help me learn and walk with me. So I believe without Christian Women's Job Corps, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at today. I know I wouldn't be where I'm at today.